everybody, and welcome to Bish's RV. My name is Josh the RV Nerd, and today we're going to be getting an updated look here at the 17JG Wolf Pup, which I'm pretty sure the model number on this has always stood for about just great, because that's kind of what this one is to me. It's a big brother to their very popular 16 BHS, and it does two, I think, significant things very differently. First of all, it has a full true U-Dinette Slide in this thing, so if you are stuck inside on a rainy day, it at least gives you a little more sense of that open space. You do have a little bit more seating. It's not a plush theater seat for sure, but if you had to make it through on a rainy day, you're camping, man. You know, maybe that works for you. The other thing is, it puts the bunks over on the door side of the RV, which opens up the opportunity for that awesome cargo mother-in-law suite over there, which I've personally tested. If you have folding e-bikes, like I've got an electric brand 3.0 series, and I could fold up two of those and fit them in there very nicely, let alone, you know, whatever propane cooker you feel like hooking up to that hooker on this thing. Ooh, that came out not the way that I intended it to, but I think you know what I mean, and if not, report me to HR. We're looking at one today with an optional adventure package, and that's actually one of the best qualities, and one of the cautionary points I want to give you is, by default, this RV is just about 4,000 pounds, probably just shy of that in its base default form. But if you go adding things like the adventure package, you go adding the black label package, which look awesome and provide a lot of cool features and function on this one, you start eating into your available cargo carrying capacity, and if you're not careful, you might end up with one of these with a cargo capacity a chunk below 1,000 pounds. So kind of keep that in mind. The more you go adding to this, the less you're going to be able to add to it later. But overall, I think what they did, this is a concert of efficiency, giving us a lot of really cool features. And it's not the be-all end-all of camping, but if you're looking for, you know, your first camper or just some casual family camping because you ain't gonna live in the sucker, this could be a fun way to go out for a family weekend without having to give up your daily driver. Now, one thing I would mention, I don't use any kind of tricky fisheye, wide-angle camera lens modes or anything like that. I just use a straight flat lens, and it sometimes makes little RVs look and feel a little more compact than they truly are. But I do think that overall this gives you the best realist understanding and estimation of what you're looking at in this RV and what you're not. Now, one of the there's actually two major updates with the Slide. We're going to hit on number two in just a little bit here. But first of all, they finally got rid of the carpet in their step-up slides like this. Now, that does need to be a small step-up slide. Due to the size of the RV, the wheel wells actually stick up into the body cavity of the RV a little bit, so making that floor flush and like optioning in a theater seat or something is just not really possible. Now, they're 6.5 foot tall inside, so generally speaking, they're going to be fine, although you're going to see the shower headroom is not amazing on this one. Full-size 13,500 BTU roof air conditioner is standard on these. And one of the more unsung qualities of this floor plan is if you look all along the door side of the RV, start taking note of how much window coverage we actually have over here. It is a model that gives you surprisingly good views of your side of the RV. And if you have that cargo door open, potentially even more than what we're looking at right now. When you think of small single axle bunkhouse campers like this, being able to look at your campsite instead of the neighbors is not something you normally associate with them. And as long as I've sat my fat butt down over here, I can get a good look at under the countertops where you get to see, or under the countertops? No, under the overhead cabins where you get to see that extra set of household outlets up there. If I'm being picky, I would have preferred that set of outlets down next to the kitchen counter. And again, if I'm being picky, a flip-up countertop extension wouldn't really offend me too awful much on this one. Now, it is really not an RV made for sitting inside and watching TV all day. They do give you a place up here to mount a TV, although it does come with just a flat slot-in kind of mount. But something that I've thought about recently on these, if you're going to put a TV in this, you're probably going to want to put a swing-out TV, unless you only lay in bed and watch it. But even then, I'd like the TV to pivot down. If you take that bracket off, you're going to see exactly the screw pattern where you can replace it with something else, which I think does provide some level of benefit. Now, this is an interesting little 2023 eye candy kind of thing. You see this little kind of light thing up top. If you flip on your awning light, and I'm trying to go downward very slowly to not make you motion sick. The awning light switch on this actually activates three things. You see right there how it gives us that wolf pup light. So when you walk in the door, it kind of gives you just a little bit of light, a little bit of reference. Now you'll see the exact same kind of thing in terms of a ground effect light outside, as well as, of course, as the switch indicates, an actual awning light. Now up front here, this is a Camp Queen bed, which I know is a big kind of problem for a lot of people, but there is maybe a way around it on this one. If you are willing to remove and sacrifice that headboard right there, you could put a 60 by 80 residential true queen bed in this. Cherokee just doesn't do that, but I'd be kind of curious to know how open to that idea would you be. What is nice is they give us some decent outlet coverage up here on the headboard. Over on the left, you got some dual USB plugs. Notice that over in the dinette, we got a couple more of those. But you see this big old brick over here. This is new, and currently it is exclusive to the Cherokee family of RVs. It is basically a single point inverter with, a potentially, you can switch it on or off, an inverted household outlet. If you're plugged into park power, you don't need to worry about that. You just are going to get the power outlet. But it also has both a fast charge USB as well as a USB Type-C plug down there. So that is one place right there where they have the more advanced style of United States Bs, which is really handy if you need something with extra power. You want to charge a Nintendo Switch. You can't just charge a Nintendo Switch off every single USB plug. They're really picky like that. Or if you've got like a wireless phone charge pad, sometimes you need something with a little extra kick to be able to do that. Working our way up top here. We've got ceiling mounted speakers. There's 2 speakers inside, 2 speakers outside. Then you have that additional basically ceiling mounted subwoofer right there. And I'm not telling you this RV sounds like, you're watching Metallica at the stadium, brother. But it's going to sound all right. For camper speakers, it's not bad. Over there, you've got that big 10 cubic foot plus 12 volt DC compressor fridge. The kitchen is not massive by any stretch of the imagination. If I lean back here on the bed to kind of give you a little more of a bigger view of this thing to help you kind of bring some things into shape and perspective, that might help you. The slide's deep enough. I think they could have put some slide side windows on, but they don't, so I guess it doesn't really matter if they could or could not, because they didn't. And what do you think of this kitchen arrangement right here? They give us some dedicated counter prep space on the left. We have a circular stainless sink in the center, and then just a vertical, basically 2-burner stovetop over on the right. Is this good? Is this the best they could have done it? Could they have changed it in a different way? Be kind of curious to know what you think. One other thing I really do like, we're going to see this again outside, assuming I remember to talk about it. They do actually vent that little stovetop vent hood outside of the RV. A lot of campers don't do that. Now over here, your kind of major control switch panel right there with the Obi-Wan Kenobi use the force activation motion action, which also is a very nice way to help you get your bearings when you walk in the RV. There's not like a single interior light. You can do your exterior lighting and whatnot here, but awnings and slides, and with that Bluetooth button, you can connect to that for your, if you want to control the RV's functions off Bluetooth, or that's actually how you're also going to connect to a backup camera that's built in on this RV. Now, back over here, you've got the single over single bunk arrangement. With this being a 7-foot wide RV, they really don't have the room to do a double over double bunkhouse. That's something where our Salem and Wildwood single axles might be a good fit for you. We have those all over the place as well. And one other thing I kind of want to point out here is the kitchen window opens for airflow. You've obviously got your screen door over here if you want airflow. It's a full viewing window. It doesn't have a privacy shade, but you could easily slot one in there. Basically, there's just literally, I think it's called a Slim Shade kit. So I guess if the real Slim Shady does stand up, they can just slot right in there. No real tools even required. It's just literally brackets that pop in there. I think we've pretty much covered stuff. Let's take a look at all the storage here. Starting up top, one of the other really pleasant surprise features that I found on this one is that the bed does have easy lift gas struts. Now you've got full extension drawers under both sides of that big U-Dinette. And including the U-Dinette, you could sleep 5 or maybe 6 people in here if you double up on the U-Dinette like Sir Mix-a-Lot. That big refrigerator over there cools very, very quickly. When you're going down the road, The 7-way plug on your vehicle will actually be just enough. That's all that fridge needs to even run, let alone having the battery on the tongue, let alone having the solar package on the roof charging the battery. This is a very travel-friendly refrigerator that is basically shock rated for going down the road. But as we get over here into the kitchen, I get that it's a small camper. I get that the kitchen's limited, and I hope you appreciate how I'm pointing stuff out that isn't awesome every time. Not a single frickin' drawer in this thing. One drawer, maybe under the sink or something, I would really appreciate. But I guess getting a little utensil organizer that I can slide around the campsite isn't the end of the world. By the way, easy reach battery disconnect there right by the door, which is awful darn handy dandy. Moving our way back, you do see that they go with a bit of the peekaboo, I smell you kind of bathroom door, but unless you've got one of those Navy SEAL endoscopy cameras, you're not dealing with any sort of privacy issues in there. That is in the base Wolf Pup series that we're looking at. You do have the simple 4-inch vent fan. When you go up to Black Label Edition, that will become one of those XL vent fans. Tankless on-demand water heater control over there on the left, so if you're in the shower and it's not quite hot enough, you can kick it up a notch like Emerald Lagasse. And that toilet for a small camper is what I call fairly fluffy friendly. It is not too bad. Now over here, what has really become kind of a signature feature of the Cherokee Stick and Tin campers, the SHUB. The shower tub combo jabbo right there. The idea behind it is that it's not bulky, so it's out of the way to give you elbow room for that shower curtain. But it's also not so tall that stepping over it requires like a step stool or anything like that. And remember I said I was 6.5 foot tall and that was going to pose a problem in the shower. Well, you have to step up into the shower for plumbing code, and you can see that without a skylight right there, probably because of where the roof trusses are located, it's a headbanger, baby. I wish that wasn't the case, but again, if something's great, I'm going to point it out. If something's not great, I'm going to point that out too. And this is a little bit different. You might notice the shower head is missing here. Well, taking a look at the left side of the screen, giving you a better view of everything, although unintentionally, I'm actually giving you a decent view of it over here on the right-hand side of the screen as well. You see that you do have a little built-in, I call it the shower beer sink, because, if you're... you can use it for like holding your shampoos and body wash just as a pocket, if nothing else. And I don't really feel personally it's in the way. I don't think it blocks you in the shower. But you could also throw some ice in there and have a couple little shower beers going on. And in case you're curious, it actually does have a drain. It doesn't just like dribble down into the tub. Not that that would really be a problem for me. I wouldn't really be offended by that. But it does have an actual, drain pipe that goes down into everything. One other little thought here before we close the slide up. Right now, you're looking at it in like, hey, let's gather around the table and play Monopoly kind of mode. But what if you're really stuck inside here on a rainy day? Well, nothing says that table has to stay there. Now, it is a pedestal-style table, and because this is a step-up slide, I think that's a good idea so the table stays fixed so you don't accidentally slide it off the table and knock it down, which, if you're playing Monopoly like my family, at the end of the game, you're going to go flipping the board anyway. But if you are stuck inside on a rainy day, you can use this like an open lounge, and I'm not going to tell you it's theater seat comfy by any means, but like if you fold it down into sleeper mode and throw a body pillow along the back, you might be able to kind of just finagle your way through a rainy day. Just some food for thought there. Now, whether or not you consider this one road mode accessible is probably going to depend a lot on your personal physical stature. And sometimes a manufacturer's greatest asset becomes their greatest liability. Cherokee's standardization is very cool. It brought us this big, full, like 7-foot long-ish true U-Dinette. But the thing is, this is a shallow slide with a big, deep dinette, which means the dinette really sticks in there. Now, real quick, this is one of the first times you're really getting to see how they have gone away from the Schwintek slide system. They've gone to a cable slide. Still very lightweight, works very good in this application. But you may have noticed how it did allow the slide out to not be so bulky in the RV when the slide was open. But when the slide's closed, the dinette is another story. Now, if you've got skinny chicken legs like mine, and you don't have too big of a booty, you can squeeze your way through there. It's not the most fun, easy, or comfortable thing for me to do, but if I stand on my toes to get my butt over the dinette seat, and tiptoe walk it, I can get back through here. Now, little kids to get back to the bunks are probably going to be fine. And even if you don't do what I just did, if you just kind of lean over the dinette, you can get back here. You can open the fridge, maybe reach in there. It just kind of depends. So whether or not this one is travel accessible is really going to depend on, you know, I guess what you can physically do, and I suppose just as well what you're willing to do, because maybe that concept doesn't work for everybody. But here's one of the other really cool things that just occurred to me now that they've gone away from a Schwintek slide. So one of the potential benefits to this going away from a Schwintek slide system is that if you wanted to come over here and you wanted to open that slide just a little bit, just enough to make more room to walk through there, this slide system you can do that. Schwinteks are one of the very few you can't. So if you are just trying to get back to the bathroom real quick and you're a bit of a bigger person, you could do that and then just make sure you close the slide before you go heading down the road. Hopefully, if you forget, you spot it in your rearview mirror. That then begs the question, but can I use the slide when it's closed? And the basic answer to that is, in no towable RV can I ever recommend you do that, because no manufacturer tests for that. So if they don't guarantee it, no dealership can ever guarantee it. And if someone tries to, you better get it in writing, because if it breaks, then it's on them and not on you. Now, topping out fully laden, fully loaded at about 5,000 pounds and just a smidge over 23 feet long, I personally think this is a really good fit for something like a tow package mid-size pickup or a decent-sized tow package SUV. I don't know, you don't necessarily need to go to half-ton. You wouldn't regret it if you had a half-ton pickup. You're going to yank this thing around all over the place and it's going to be just fine. Now, these are 7 foot wide. That's one of the major differences between the Wolf Pup series and the Grey Wolf. These are a narrow body, which means they're very easy to see around. And if you just peek up over the top there, you can see where this one has their expanded solar package available on it. This one right here is kind of built as like a sort of, I'm going to call it very light-duty, off-pavement kind of camper. I think the phrase off-road and off-grid, those things get really abused. Say hello to Brandon and Sarah, everybody, over here at our Coldwater, Michigan store. They're out here doing some lot management, inventory checking for us, making sure we got everything looking right and tight. But my point with this one is, you know, going down the highway, fine. Getting off the paved roads and doing just some nicely maintained kind of dirt roads, fine. You want to go rock crawling, brother? Well, that is not what this one is for. Up front here, in the standard series, we have the Cherokee Quick Jack, which with a common little drill that you could also use on your corner stabilizer jacks, by the way. 8 seconds up and down, you can fully extend and retract that tongue jack. Now, I made a comment right there. That you could use that drill on your corner jack. Something I didn't learn myself until only about a year ago when these new Lippert quick drop stabilizers came out. Common scissor jacks, evidently you're not supposed to use a drill to put those up and down. I didn't know that. I had done it for years. I've told people to do it for years, and now I've learned there's a different, better way. But these ones right here basically have their own additional stabilizer bar built in. And notice that we are getting front and rear stabilizers. That trying to get a single axle camper properly stabilized can be a bit of a trick sometimes. And they're giving us a better ability to do that standard from the factory. You also may have noticed the propane cooker hooker up front there. And whether it's in the rear cargo mother-in-law suite or up front in the big storage below the bed, you got yourself some nice place to put some kind of grill if you are so inclined. Now, I can't remember if I remember to talk about it on the inside or not, but kind of like we had that little, effect lighting that said Wolf Pup right when you walked in the door. You've got the same little thing kind of right there. They'll broadcast a little Cherokee logo down on the ground, which during the day you can't see. They are using that glass front door, and I love that little kind of frosting that says Wolf Pup down there on the bottom. Apologies for the sunshine, really providing a wicked glare here. And I've got a light pole from the grounds right here, right in the way. But if I weave around that, it's not the world's biggest awning. And I try to be fair. I try to share, good things with not good things or points of concern or whatever you want to call it. The awning's not big, but it goes basically from the front entry door back to the rear, or front cargo door back to the rear cargo door. I think they put the biggest awning on it they really physically could. So I guess I can't knock them for trying here. It's not a full-on camp kitchen, but remember we have the grill connect, and then over here we've got just a handy little outdoor mini fridge. Now this is 110 only. This doesn't have any sort of inversion to it, so this does not operate going down the road. It's not going to operate off battery power. Keep that in mind. But with that little drawbridge style drop down, that to me just screams drink 30. That is just an awesome little drink station there. Now, by default, you wouldn't be looking at the cool knobby style tires over here. This is outfitted with the adventure package. The bigger tires, that little strip of diamond plate along the bottom to kind of act like a little bit of brush guard if you do choose to take it off payment. The bank would not appreciate you going off payment, but if you go off pavement, that's just sort of intended to be a very light-duty brush guard. Above that here, we have our outside speakers, roughly at the height of my shoulders, being about 6 foot-ish. If you choose to add an outside TV, you could. And I'm going to give them credit for adding a stovetop vent exhaust out here. And you're also getting a really good look at the RVs behind us, because they are using a mirrored coating on those windows over here. That is something I'm really I'm curious to know what people think. When I first saw it, I wasn't so sure, but it's slowly growing on me. But that's just kind of my 2 cents. Other things growing on me may or may not include some variety of toe fungus that I need a prescription cream for. That may or may not be true. You don't even know at this point, do you? Obviously, that bottom bunk can fold up. To do that, though, you do need to take the mattress off the bottom bunk and layer it or just move it anywhere. I always like to layer it on the top bunk, but that's an interesting kind of concept right there. If you don't need both bunks, like if you are a solo or couples camping arrangement, you could, maybe leave that top bunk padded. Maybe you've just got one kid. Maybe you're a single parent going out for the weekend, and you can just leave this in full-time cargo mode. Or there's nothing that says you gotta have the bunk here. If you wanted to take the bunk out, if you wanted to remove that paneling down there and make this some kind of like open walk-in closet in a little camper, this is a very easy RV to be able to do some simple modifications like that. And one of the other nice things here, even if I fling that sucker, it doesn't go slamming shut, because both doors, that cargo door and the entry door, are anti-slam. And they both do have a deadbolt, by the way. When there's a cargo bunk door, sometimes people get a little freaked out about the concept of somebody opening the door and snatching one of their kids. That's going to be deadbolted. First of all, I've never encountered in my career someone where that's happened in a hard-sided RV, and I hope I never do, understand. But secondly, if somebody did try to crack into the sucker and get your kid, they're going to have to make an awful racket to make that happen. So you should have some reaction time in there. Little details that I like. The third taillight on the back, giving you just that extra bit of stopping safety. I like how it's mounted up high. You may also notice the Bluetooth backup camera standard on this thing. So if you sync your phone up to the Bluetooth control pad inside, you're also basically syncing to that camera. So it doesn't have a separate monitor. The phone that's in your pocket that you're probably not going to leave home without, that is your monitor. And we are now prepped and ready for one of those telescopic removable ladders, although ladder not included on these. One thing that is nice about the adventure package, the slightly bigger tire does give you a little more clearance for your sewer stuff in the back. But again, this is not made and intended to be some major heavy-duty lifted off-grid kind of thing with huge ground clearance or anything like that. It's just a small, simple family camper that you can do a couple little fun things with for a little extra function, so keep that in mind. They are still prepped and ready for slide awnings, if you see those brackets at the top up there. And then up front here, tankless on-demand water heater, especially if you're hooked up to any sort of park situation. Basically, as long as you got water and you got 12 volt, which with the solar package or park power or generator, you got all that, you're going to have hot water, which is awful nice. You also have a full hot-cold outside utility shower, which in single-axle campers, that is a far more rare and uncommon find. Now, it is worth mentioning once again, you can get this in the Smexy Pants Shiny Shoes Black Label Edition, which is the technical terms for that, where you get that high gloss fiberglass, and the overall color palette's going to change from blue and white to just gray all over with some real Smexy looking frameless windows. Now, as all, I got hang tags hitting me in the face today. I got bugs attacking me over here. Whatever. Anyway, obviously I don't edit my videos. When you're ready, we're ready. I will, of course, as always, leave you some links in the video description. One, to check for pricing and availability. Can't even talk. Whether we have it in stock in the base series or the Black Label Edition. One link to rule them all. We'll give you pricing, availability, all that kind of stuff. Also, I'll see if I can't scare up a couple similar floor plans and leave you links to the full video tours of those down in the video description here. And as always, keep the questions, comments, and input and suggestions coming. You folks continue to drive this channel. And take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.